3, 2, 1.
Got a little cough.
Yeah.
Quite sickening, to be honest with you. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new Old Carver Fishing Podcast. We are in studio once again here in Carver, Minnesota at Old Carver Fishing Bait and Tackle Shop. Let me tell you, today felt a little springy. I talked to my mom on the way to the podcast, and she said, we got 9 more inches of snow. She's like, everything's glare ice. I can't even get up the driveway. So she's like, I was supposed to have a hair appointment. She's like, I had to cancel that. My stepdad, my dad, took the day off from work, and he hasn't stopped working. He builds houses, and he hasn't done. He's almost 66, and that guy just never ends. He just nonstop works. Surprisingly, he took the day off. Interesting story about my dad before we start the podcast. It's kind of cool. Not cool at all, actually. He was doing a roof. He builds by himself. He has a helper sometimes. He'll do everything by himself, build whole houses. It's insane how talented he is. Dedication. It was freezing cold out, and he was doing shingles on a house, and it rained, and he had jeans on, his work jeans, and he was on his knees the whole day doing shingles, and when he got home, he was in like a lot of pain. My dad froze his kneecaps, fully black, frostbite.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't go into the hospital.
Of course not.
All he did was cut some toes off and put them around his knees, and then went to work again the next day, and he said it was excruciating. Frostbite, I've heard, is extremely painful. But he froze his he froze his kneecaps.
That's insane.
And he doesn't like wearing knee pads because
Why are you laughing?
he loses grip. He doesn't like the he doesn't like knee pads. So he just put socks under his jeans and then went back to work the next day, and they're still healing. It's been like 3 weeks, but he killed all the skin on his knees.
Wow.
Blisters. Bad news.
He needs to go get that checked.
Yeah, he doesn't do that. He fell 2.5 stories onto his back onto boulders off a ladder, and he didn't even go in.
Mom just got in. Mom's going to have to take him in.
Hey, Mom. I just saw my mom in there. Hello, Mother.
We got
Hi,
Nicole
Luke's
Rose,
mom.
Huddleston.
Nicole. What's up, Nicole?
What's up, Nicole?
But today's Wednesday. It is May 1st. Holy cow, I'm getting ahead of myself. May 1st. And spring's right around the corner. Catfishing's coming.
If you haven't bought a license
And
in Minnesota.
And as spring comes, refresh your fishing license, right? As spring comes, the big fish start to bite. The fishing gets really, really good. And when the fish bite really, really well, you might want to get one mounted. And today is the head. We're not going to get into it quite yet, but that's the head of the story today. I'm going to go around and introduce the table. As some of you know who we are, some of you do not. But I'm Luke Henches, Fish on Luke on YouTube and TikTok. Next to me, we got Scott Goodyman, Old Carver Fishing Pro Staff. Across from him, we have Danny Two Cats, the legend, Two Naps, Mr. himself.
Unfiltered part.
Unfiltered. If you ever watch this, I'm not going to say it. So that's Danny Two Cats, local carpenter, bartender, and he's here today. Grace us with his presence.
You show up with these, says you ask for a Danny Two Cats Long Island iced tea.
And then we got across from me, we got the
and an Uber,
the styled-haired comb-over gentleman, Chewy Godinez Jr., co-owner of Old Carver Fishing Bait and Tackle Shop, Stoked Custom Baits. We got a good show today. I talked to you guys a little bit about getting a fish mounted, and in my opinion, there isn't anyone that really does it better than our guest today. It is Erik Frank, Angler's Touch Fish Art and Taxidermy.
What's going on, buddy?
We welcome you guys to our podcast, Erik. Well, that was a good podcast. Thanks for coming on.
See you next time. Thanks for having me on the show.
No, it's a pleasure. We were talking about it before, and I was like, I'm going to ask Erik to come on.
Yeah.
Because I know Scott next to me really likes your work, and everyone that comes into the bait shop, you can't see it, but that catfish is above my back.
I think I've seen pictures on your Facebook of it hanging up in there.
The only problem is we broke the couple whiskers off moving it. It was our mistake.
You don't even have to bring that up.
It was Chewy. He doesn't want to talk about it. But
I don't know why you can't make those a little bit more sturdy there.
Be careful with those things.
Yeah, he warned me right away. He's like, be careful with the whiskers. They're sensitive material, you know. But no, it's
not the first mount to get broken, I'm sure.
Right. No. And Erik's done 2 full mounts for me, and then did a fix it for one of my other walleyes I had done. I kind of wanted him to not make it look
little touch up and repaint on that guy.
now it doesn't look like shit, so it looks really good. So he did
Too
some
much blood on that thing.
Yeah, it had some red bloodish because it had just spawned. I caught it midnight on opener in a foot of water with a live shiner and a jig, and I saw it. I had my headlamp on. I wasn't like shining fish, but I just happened to I was gonna cast, and I saw eyes glowing in the water. Super clear, shallow water, like not even knee deep. And I pitched it in there opening night in this little stream up north by Bemidji, and it inhaled it. That fish just got off the bed in that creek. I mean, it was in there spawning. It was a little bloody, but taxidermist screwed it up pretty good and made it looked pretty hideous, did it not?
It was pretty bad.
And I used to think that mount was amazing. I mean, it was a decent mount, but those spots were just uncalled for. We'll just say that. They were not good looking whatsoever. But she looks good now, Erik.
Yeah, we fixed her up good.
Yep.
Well, and like on your catfish, I like the detail that he did do.
On the fin?
With the
Yeah.
from the net and all
The
that.
perfect fin
Yeah.
break replication.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
sick. And he mounted my
Go for that.
perch. He did
Go
mount
for
my
the realism.
right. And he did mount my perch. I think Erik froze. Oh, he's back.
Okay.
He did mount my perch from
Yeah.
Cascade. I could probably bring
Yeah.
that in here too.
That thing was a giant.
Yeah, that was. I want to catch a 3-pounder, but I probably should shoot for 2.5. But people are familiar with you. You own a taxidermy company out of East Bethel. You want to talk a little bit about maybe where you grew up, what got you interested in doing taxidermy, and I know you're a huge fisherman as well. Erik does a lot of fishing.
Yeah.
He can talk a little bit about that, what he looks forward to this spring. But tell us where you're from, what got you into doing what you're doing, and when you kind of blew up on the old taxidermy market.
All right. Well, born and raised in Minnesota. Lived here my whole life. I grew up fishing. I think the first fish I ever caught when I was probably 3 or 4 years old. My grandparents used to have a lake home up north, kind of north of Mille Lacs. And that was kind of my home away from home while I was growing up as a kid. I'd stay up there all summer and fish. We got absolutely spoiled up there. Like, I didn't even know what a 10-inch crappie looked like. They were all 12 to 15 inches in that lake back then. Freaking awesome. Like, easy limits of walleyes, great bass fishing. That place is sweet. That's really what got me hooked into fishing. I've always had just kind of a fascination with fishing and fish. So it kind of led me into getting into taxidermy when I was, I think, 13, 14 years old. Kind of taught myself how to do skin mounts through books from the library.
That's
You know,
awesome.
back then there wasn't YouTube.
No.
There wasn't a whole lot of stuff on the internet. I don't think I even have internet back then. Getting old. So it's not like it is today where you can just go on Facebook and join taxidermy groups and learn all kinds of pro tips on how to do taxidermy and replicas. It was books from the library and really crappy, crude manuals that you could buy from a taxidermy store. Like, that's kind of how I got my start. I wasn't very good at it for a long time. I kind of dabbled throughout the years. And probably say 7 or 8 years ago, I was kind of getting sick of doing auto body work. So I kind of got more heavy into the taxidermy stuff. And that's when I started getting better and better at it. So I've got, every time someone posts a taxidermy post looking for someone who does the best taxidermy on Facebook, I get tagged like 30, 40 times in the post, which is, it's kind of nice. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry. I'm one of them.
I've tagged him
Numerous
I've
times.
tagged him numerous times in posts.
No, I totally appreciate it. I don't even have to advertise it.
No.
You guys do it for me.
We can talk about that later. I always get a kick out of. I guess we don't really have to get into it. You can kind of keep it to yourself. But it's so weird to me what people accept as quality mounts and pay for them. It just it makes my mind spin. And
Yeah, same here.
I feel like you almost feel like the people that are showing like, here, check out my mount on my 40-inch pike, and it's just a horrible mount. Like the guy maybe just got out of high school that mounted it, but it might be the thing like he's just proud of the fish he caught, not so. But then there's people that say, look at this awesome mount, when it's literally.
Sometimes when you don't have anything to compare your mount to,
Yeah.
it looks awesome, you know.
Well, I used to think my walleye was really, really good until I saw your mounts. Kind of goes to say you're right. You're probably.
You just walk around and judge other people's mounts.
I can't hear you, Dan.
Is your mic on?
There's a
Turn
switch
that
on
thing
there.
up.
See the switch, on and off switch in the middle of the shank? Dan, holy shit. Now he's on.
There you
Go
go.
ahead. Now say it, Dan.
So I'm a carpenter. So whenever time I walk into a building or something, I'm always just checking out what other people did wrong. Do you walk into Cabela's and Gander Mountain or wherever they got mounts and just judge your work to other people's?
I was kind of guilty of that sometimes.
Do you learn anything when you're checking out other people's stuff, like in the Cabela's Shields, I guess, where they have large assortments of mounts?
A lot of those are actually pretty decent. I mean, you go into some of the older tackle stores and restaurants and you see some like 30, 40-year-old mounts that just look crusty and dirty. But not really much you can say about those because they're just old.
Yeah.
The old school way of doing taxidermy with flagged fins, not much paint on them. Technology has come a long way with different newer products and stuff like that.
Oh, did you?
You can get fish to look pretty realistic nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that you go when you people get a fish and then like I've tagged you and stuff where people say, oh, replicas don't look good, got to get the skin mount, and then I tag a picture of your fish and everyone's like, that's not a replica. That's the real fish. I was like, that is not a real fish. He's just really good. And when you can't tell the difference, like Erik makes posts. You've made posts for saying which one's a replica and which one's a skin mount.
You just had one not that
Yeah, I do it every now and then.
Yeah, and half the people have no idea. It's hard to
tell.
People who are educated can tell. You can tell by the fins are usually the dead giveaway on stuff like that.
But in terms of like quality and how it looks, you're not going to know a difference.
Yeah, at first glance, a lot of people can't tell the difference between the two.
Yep. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I was looking at like on your Facebook page, the 15-inch perch or 15-inch crappie. How long would that take to airbrush or from start to finish?
No, I usually batch like species together. That knocks a little bit of time off, but I'd say on average, I have hour and a half.
You don't have
2
to
hours
say
into a crappie. I'm not afraid to say it.
Hour and a half-ish.
If I'm doing just one crappie, probably 3 hours. If I'm doing 10 of them at a time, hour and a half, probably.
Sure.
That's pretty
just
good.
Switching paints and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, just all the time switching paints, cleaning the airbrushes out.
Sure. Makes sense.
But if I can assembly line them, it's way quicker.
I have seen your post like
before you got into sorry, Scott.
No, where he lines them up.
Before you got into taxidermy, were you an artist before?
Yeah, I've always been good at drawing. I used to sit up in my room and do colored pencil drawings when I was little.
Is that where you're we're going to get into your automotive stuff a little bit. We're going to show us some of your mounts. Maybe we can talk about a few of your mounts. We got a whole bunch of pictures. I don't know if Chewy's quite ready yet.
I bombarded him with pictures earlier.
Yeah, I see that. You really sent a lot.
Yeah, I was like,
there's more where that came from. A lot more.
And I got the first load, and I was like, cool. And then I was walking, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then
40 more.
It's like, that's enough, bro. I'll show it right now. Here, let me just answer this real quick.
What's that?
I'm answering some.
Okay.
And what are we gonna look at? Taxidermy.
Taxidermy right now, and then we'll get into his other stuff he does.
Right here.
Oh, that's a nice mount.
It's crazy.
Yeah, my buddy Tom's largemouth bass. That's a replica.
That's a replica, huh? Oh yeah.
That's actually that fish behind me there.
Oh, the one right behind you on the wall?
Yep, that's a freshie.
Dang.
That's
It's crazy.
Some of these pictures' colors are not. Now that one's a good color. Look at that peacock.
yeah,
How many
peacock.
peacocks have you done?
That is the one and only that I've done.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Look at the detail on this pikey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Check this out.
crazy.
Look at that. Look at that gold.
Our
It's
pike
so
one of
hard
the
to
more
get- so hard to get good photos of mounts too. It's like mess with camera settings and stuff. And sometimes I get good pictures, sometimes I don't.
Look at that
Are pike one of the
bass.
more difficult, like inland Minnesota lake fish to do, or what's the most challenging fish you've mounted? I guess
I would say pike and lake trout.
Lake
There's
trout?
so many white spots on them things that
Oh.
they're just tedious. Takes
Those
forever.
whiteys.
yeah. Just look at the thick.
Look at this one.
tails. Burbot. That was your first burbot, wasn't it, Eric?
Yeah, that one was
Yeah.
actually molded off of the state record.
Oh no, crap, huh? Brown trout, brookie.
Nice.
Tiger trout.
Oh, it's a tiger. See how much I know about trout? That's a big. How big is that perch? Is that on your wall?
No, that one left a while ago. Can't keep track of them all. There's been so many.
7 pound. That's a
Smallmouth.
Lower Detroit River. That's a big smallmouth.
That is a big
Yeah.
smallmouth.
That one was caught in a bass tournament.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok. A guy caught an 8 pounder. I don't know where he was, but it looked freaking huge. Well, we saw some mounts. We can get a little bit into the passion of fishing that you have. I know you love doing a lot of smallmouth fishing, lake
Yeah,
trout.
yeah. You're usually spring and fall. It's all smallmouth I'm chasing.
You
And
go.
what do
You fish
Nice.
Mille Lacs a lot.
I mean, when I can hop into a boat with a buddy who's got a big enough boat for Mille Lacs, I'm always down to hit Mille Lacs. Caught some
Yeah, I
nice
fish-
fish in there over the years.
I fished Mille Lacs in my boat once, my old boat, and I could not figure out how to fish smallmouth out there. I'm either really bad or the fish weren't biting. One of the two. Probably the bad part.
Yeah, I've been out there and blinked, and I've been out there and caught some nice ones.
Really.
They're fun out
It is
there.
a weird lake. I'd like to learn it more.
I would too. It's a big body of water. I really want to get out to where do they in Sturgeon Bay? They fish out there on the
Oh,
big
yeah.
lake and catch those big spawning smallmouth or close to spawning. I really like ripping them off the nest. That's my favorite. I'm just
When
kidding.
they're good, giant full of eggs.
Huge. I mean, that's kind of when everyone fishes Cascade. They're all full of eggs. You've seen them.
Right.
Everyone you've cut open.
All the females are they're like
Plump.
alien egg sac carriers.
Dude,
Things
it's
are just
crazy.
Freaks.
It's amazing. People see, videos and pictures of perch from Cascade. Until you hold one, and you've held many of them from Cascade.
Right.
I mean, can you explain? They're just ginormous fish, are they not?
They're a different breed over there. They just get huge.
Yeah, people have
I,
said,
I just did a giant batch of like 20 of them, and
holy smokes.
there was a 16 and a half incher in there.
Dang, that's a
Wow.
half inch longer than my 16.
Yeah, I'm guessing
And-
it was like 2.5 pounds
And
probably.
a 16 is long.
Right, 15
16
is
and a
pretty
half.
long.
Yeah, I mean, and on Cascade, catching a 16 is pretty rare. 2.5 pounder is like catching a 16 incher, but mine just didn't have the weight. It didn't have that giant freaking belly.
Yeah.
Right.
The guys that caught the state record out in Cascade caught it the day we left. I talked to him at the gas station, which is kind of funny. But that fish looked mutant. You saw that fish, didn't you?
Yeah, it was like someone took an air compressor to it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked
Yeah.
like. It was like the back was swollen and the belly was full of eggs, but it's crazy.
What do you target smallies with? I mean, hair jigs.
It depends where I'm at.
Just gonna say
I like-
tubes.
I've gotten into the Ned rig on the river a lot more the last couple of years.
Nice.
I just crush them on that. But I think my favorite way to fish them is probably jerk baits.
Oh yeah.
You
I got
twitch, and all of a sudden there's just weight, and it's like, oh yeah, here we go.
I love how aggressive they are.
When
They're
I was
so much fun.
Oh, dude, it's so fun. When I was up north last summer with Tara, as the sun was kind of going down, I said, "Watch this." And I was like, last time I was out here, this worked. And I took a whopper plopper on, and this lake has a whole bunch of like sunken islands. There's sand and gravel and rock. And I'm like, you can wing a whopper plopper a long ways. If you've ever fished whopper ploppers, you can cast them a mile.
Oh, I get
And-
bottom them things.
Yeah. And I would cast it over the edge of the sandbar or the island and bring it over the top. Dude, I had two just annihilate my whopper plopper. People forget about topwater smallmouth fishing. It's a real thing.
Well, poppers
That's
are
a
the-
blast too.
Oh, it's so fun. I know people do it on the upper Mississippi. Have you done topwater up there before for smallmouth?
Not a whole lot, no.
I haven't
I'll
either.
throw a whopper plopper every now and then, toss it up to the bank, but I haven't
Yeah.
had much luck on it.
Yeah. It's just like circumstantial, I think, out there. Like right towards the end of the day, they just something about it. They just can't they can't not hit it. It's weird. But so how long have you been doing taxidermy now?
Since I was like 14, kind of dabbled throughout the years for friends and family.
So
But,
you're not
like,
aging.
Serious for the last like probably 8 years.
Okay. And have you done any sort of seminars or classes for like advanced learning, or have you just kind of send it and learn and crush it as you go?
And I just kind of take bits and pieces from other artists when I can and kind of figure stuff out on my own, really.
Do you have a taxidermist you look up to that you really, really like their work and you appreciate what they do? That's someone that you look up to?
Yeah, I would say Jimmy Lawrence is one of those guys.
Yeah.
Steve Silseth, he's a good one too. There's so many good artists out there right now. It's
Right.
unbelievable. Talon Bean, he's probably one of the top fish guys in the country. Tyler
Really?
Erickson, he's awesome.
I think I'm friends with Tyler. He does a really good job.
Yeah.
What is Ron Wagner wants to know, what's cheaper, a skin or a replica?
I've been charging the same for both.
Keep it easy.
Yeah, keep it easy. Try to weed out some of the skin mounts, I suppose. They take a lot longer. They take up freezer space. They take up shelf space as they dry. I can crank out replicas a lot faster.
That's
What's up, Eddie?
awesome. You guys have any questions for Erik on taxidermy before we get into
what-
other stuff?
So you said family members that also do this?
What do you say? My family members?
Yeah, you got family members that also do taxidermy?
No, I don't. I used to do taxidermy like when I was growing up, just for family members and friends,
Oh, so
Just
you just picked it up
kind
on
of
your own.
kind of as practice, you know.
Well, so the interest just came into them, right? You just said,
What'd you just mumble?
Says
Chewy's
interest.
just back with us. He's
Sorry.
been emailing.
I'm looking at this and looking at that. Sorry, guys.
You sound like you spoke English.
I was saying, that just came to you one day. You just said, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna do that."
Yeah, yeah.
Seal it.
Used to catch a lot of big fish, and I just kind of had a fascination with taxidermy. I could taught myself how to do it.
Do you have a full-time job now, or are you full-time taxidermist?
Full-time taxidermy. My
That'll wait.
backlog is huge.
I was
There's no
going
way
to
I could
ask
have
what
it.
your weight is now.
So we put an order in for Luke's sturgeon. What are we looking at? 2 years?
Probably a year and a half.
Year and a half? You better put that order in.
It's
Get it
worth
in,
it.
bud.
We need to find a blank. Right? That's probably the hardest part, is finding a blank
Yeah,
for that
it's-
fish.
Some fish like sturgeon, eel pout, dogfish, some catfish. There's just not a whole lot to choose from as far as blanks go.
And I got really, really lucky with my blue cat that he had something within like a half an inch
Right.
of my actual fish girth and length, which is crazy.
When fish get that big, like if you're off a little bit, inch or two or a few
Yeah.
pounds, you can't really tell once it's
Right.
hanging on the wall.
But like you said, there's a 72-inch sturgeon replica they have. I couldn't accept a 72 for a almost 78-inch fish. I don't know if I can mention.
Yeah,
it.
it'd be too
So-
big of a difference, I think.
Yeah. I think it hurt my ego.
Do you charge by the inch? Is that how that works?
Yep, I charge by the inch and then extra for driftwood or habitat scenery. Like I make custom habitat bases and backgrounds.
Yep.
Yeah, I really like that ice one you did, where the hole and the ice
Yeah.
chunks.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
We didn't get that picture.
Not very
I got-
fun to make though.
One of those.
They kind of suck to make.
Oh, I can imagine. I can only imagine that. So you've been a taxidermy quite a while. You've become accomplished, and I know you didn't you just do Jason Mitchell's whole new studio?
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of fish for him in his new headquarters,
That's
That's
so cool.
awesome.
Devil's Lake up there.
Oh man.
And he was on Minnesota Bound.
Yeah, and Minnesota Bound, Ron Shera
Yeah.
just did that episode. And people don't some people might know, but you are experienced your airbrushing is your thing. Like you're golden at airbrushing. That's what everyone always talks about when they say Erik Frank. His airbrushing is insane. But you also do motorcycles.
Yeah, not really anymore.
Well,
I mean,
you did.
If a buddy needed one painted, I'll paint it. But yeah, I used to do a lot of custom automotive airbrushing and painting.
That is
That's
insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're looking at that alien one
Jesus
you did at the
Christ.
Crown.
Look at that.
You did a plane?
Yeah, I've done a few planes.
Oh
That's
my
sweet.
Gosh.
That was
Hell yeah.
the most
we,
paint intensive project I've ever done right there.
we got to get a plane like that and just make a big old catfish out of it.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Look at
sick.
that. Isn't that? He was awesome to kill her.
That is
I
nuts.
got over 800 hours into that Tiger plane.
Whoa.
800 hours.
I know.
That's awesome.
That's
Between
crazy.
Between me and my helper.
Did you have a base price to pay that they paid you, or did you charge them by the hour?
I charged him by the hour.
Attaboy.
The guy that owned the plane, like there was a waiting list for this plane that he wanted, the Quest Kodiak.
Yep.
Somehow he got ahead of everybody on the waiting list and he got one. So he just flew it right to the Blaine airport, had me check it out, and then we did all the paint work at Whip Air at Fleming Field in St. Paul.
And you had to use all aircraft paint for that, huh?
Yeah, I mean aircraft paint, automotive paint, same stuff.
Is it?
Yeah.
God, that's crazy.
That's awesome.
So Erik's been in magazines, calendars for his automotive painting, and then obviously for his taxidermy, he's everywhere. Everyone knows who he is. Every time I see a post, everyone tags Erik, like you said before.
There's schools
I'm
for
fine
that,
with
right?
that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Taxidermy?
there's taxidermy schools, right, Erik? Still?
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you ask some of the top taxidermy guys in the country to sit in and shadow them, a lot of them will accept stuff like that.
Oh, no crap, huh?
Like I've actually had other artists reach out and want to learn from me, so I
That's awesome.
might start doing that here soon. We've got a guy
And you-
from Texas who wants to come up.
Well,
He's
let me
never ice fished. I was trying to get him up here this month, but it
Yeah.
didn't
just-
work out. I'm just
to
having
get-
issues with my dog. She's 14 years old and having health
man.
issues, so just too much going on.
And you
I
only
might-
do that for people that aren't near here, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it for my straight up competition in the
That's what I
area.
was thinking right now. I was going to ask.
That's,
You
Not a
send
smart
Dan.
business move.
that's funny. What's the biggest fish you've done?
The biggest one is probably your catfish or that
Oh.
72-inch sturgeon.
Well, the catfish is probably the heaviest, but
Yeah,
The
that
longest-
sturgeon would be the longest.
yeah, and that's Rick's, right? Rick Nelson's.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a cool mount. That looks really, really
that's a
good.
sweet mount. He was pretty stoked when he picked that thing up.
Does your price per inch go down after like 50, 60 inches, or is it the
Oh
same?
no! Could have asked me that.
If anything, it should go up because I have to have that huge blank shipped to me, and it's expensive.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Is that can you tell me what the going rate is? Last time I looked, it was $13.50 an inch.
I mean, there's still people that charge that.
Okay.
I don't.
Oh, it's gone down,
Me-
is what you're saying.
No, no.
Everything keeps going up.
Everything's always
Yeah.
going to keep going up.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a discount on my Blue Cat only because I got the replica blank before I was gonna have him mount it to get it. It's the shittiest blank too. He
Oh, that thing is rough.
he had to do a lot of work to make this fish up here, and I can't show. Well, people can't see it, but yeah, it was a pretty rough blank.
Yeah, That thing needed a lot of body work.
A lot of bondo.
Basically polishing a turd on that one.
And people are amazed. It's such a light mount. I feel like
It is
my
late.
perch is almost as heavy as that catfish.
Oh yeah, that catfish is like paper thin fiberglass.
Yeah. And that perch
You gotta
is
Be
heavy.
careful with that thing.
Oh, I know.
Breaking your whiskers off.
Yeah, chewy. What else do we got? I know Wade's talking a lot in chat. Wade's a big fan of your work. You did his bluegill, his big one.
Yeah, those were some beautiful fish.
Yep. Wade, he has done, like, even in my family, he's done my brother's perch. My brother had a double mount of his Cascade perch. He did those, and they turned out amazing. Any fish I've ever seen. I mean, my catfish was the first catfish you've ever done,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you just nailed it.
it's the best blue cat mount I've ever seen, honestly. And then you did a flathead last year, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a cool fish too.
Yeah, sick. I forgot to send you that.
Yeah, to get that picture.
That would've
Yeah,
been
I've got 2 more flatheads in the book right now too that I have to do.
replicas or fish?
Yeah, I won't skin mount a catfish.
Yeah, it would be impossible,
I
wouldn't it?
don't even know
almost?
where to start on skin mounting a catfish.
How big are the ones you're gonna do?
I think it's the same blank as the last one I did.
Yeah.
And then there's one that's a little bit bigger, like a little over 50 inches.
Dang, over 50 inches? That's a 60 pounder there, boy.
How big is yours?
47.
Yeah.
Inches, pounds.
Both.
If you get to 60 inches, you're pushing 60 pounds. 50 inches, sorry. If it's a healthy fish.
Yeah, it's a big fish.
That's a big
Yeah.
fish. Mine was only 50. My catfish was 55 inches long, my blue cat, but it had a 41.5-inch girth. And that's where those pounds come on real quick.
Yeah.
Like a 41-inch catfish is a nice catfish, but when that's a girth, it's a good sign.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we're team girth here at the bait shop, so
Yeah.
yep, team girth. So yeah, I'm trying to think of any other questions I had for him. You guys have any other questions for Erik?
I had one. I can't think of it now.
The blonde bomber's on.
Tara's in here. Where's she at? Did you already ask him about your sturgeon? I've talked to him about it privately. I have.
Didn't you want a channel cat done at one time?
No, I will. Once I catch my 30 pounder, I will. We're gonna in like 6-7 weeks. I'll be sending you another one. Hopefully.
You know, I'll be
It
looking
won't be-
forward to it.
Yeah, I just need to catch one. That's 30
I
pound
haven't done
channel.
a channel cat yet, so I want to do one.
Well, you'll crush it, I'm sure. I'll get real good pictures too. And yeah, I talked to Erik about my sturgeon replica. What'd you say? What was it? $200 to get that done?
$200 for him to listen to you. $200 for you to talk to them about it, bro. What are you talking about?
Probably twice that just to get the blank shipped to my
I
house.
know. It's gonna be 400
So
bucks.
what channel cat? What size channel cat would be worth mounting?
A 30 pound channel
30
cat.
pound cat.
Or 40 inches. That's over 25 pounds.
So no channel cat here.
Yeah, there's a 30 pounder, probably in the Mississippi.
If
I
you
don't
got like an albino channel or like one
Yeah.
of the cool like cow spotted ones, that'd be a cool mount.
Yeah, there's lakes in like Kansas. You can catch. My buddy Dan, when we were in Kansas, he caught a full albino blue cat.
That'd be a pretty cool
And
mount.
but
That'd be a
the
cool mount.
spotted ones are even cooler.
Right.
Part albino, like Erik said, I mean, they're super cool. But if I was going to mount an albino catfish, it has to be a big one. I don't want to just mount an albino catfish. I have my goal set to what I want to mount a fish.
Yep.
I want a 30 pound channel cat, more than a 40-inch channel cat. I want a 30 pound channel cat, legit 30 pounder, which is really rare, but it can be done where I fish for them. I want a 12 pound walleye. I haven't got that yet. I've been pretty close. I got my perch. I got my blue cat. I have a lake sturgeon that's worthy of the mount, I think, but I don't have a wallet that's worthy of a mount that big.
What do you say?
The nice thing, you only have to pay half now, and then you got a year and a half to save up the rest of it.
That's true. No, I could probably do it. I just gotta. If we can find a blank, if you can find me a blank that's within like an inch of that, then we'll talk.
Yeah, I'll keep searching on that one.
Good luck.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know what the hell Wade's talking about.
He's probably talking about the size. When I asked what size channel be worth mounting?
You decide what you want your damn tone in here, Wade. No, I got a pretty strict thing. Like I mounted that walleye that was 30.5 that Erik fixed for me. That was only like 8.5 pounds. It wasn't a very heavy fish. Then I caught a 31 on the ice, but that wasn't heavy enough either. I just want that 12-pounder. That's my and
It's a huge walleye.
yeah, and I wanted to catch in the Midwest. I could go to the Columbia for a week and probably catch one that's 15 or 16 realistically pounds, but it's not the same. It's
Where
almost
Jason
cheating.
Mitchell caught that 34-incher.
Was he on the Columbia?
That might have been Missouri River.
But yeah, there's huge ones down there too. On the Wahi, Sakakawea.
I would like to. If you go down to Texas for that alligator gar, you catch a decent one. That'd be a nice mount.
I'm not mounting a gar. I already caught a almost 200-pounder. I'm not mounting an alligator gar.
Why not?
That'd be a sweet mount, actually.
What'd you say?
That'd
It
be
was
cool.
13 something an inch.
I don't know.
There you go.
That was 10 years ago.
if I
Probably
legit
doubled
if I
now.
legit caught like a almost 9-footer, I would probably get a replica. It would hurt that would hurt so bad. Because that's gonna be like upper 200 pounds, almost 300 pounds. And if I caught a 10-foot white sturgeon, 12-foot. I couldn't do 10. There's too many 10s out there. I don't know. I haven't thought about sturgeon and gar because they're just so big. And the mount cost for an alligator gar, I don't even want to talk about that. Get into the 8-foot range.
I'd be up there.
33.5.
13.8. He's seen one walleye that almost hit 14 pounds.
Oh yeah.
That's a
A
big
good
fish.
That is a big fish.
That's really big. That's a rare fish at Lake of the Woods, especially in the stateside.
Right.
How big was that one you caught that day?
No idea. 28.5 and
20
30
and a
inch, 30 and a quarter inches.
30 and a quarter. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that one looked like a dinosaur. That was a cool fish.
Brock sent
Yeah.
me one the other day. He was out ice fishing the river. They got a 28-incher that had a 19-inch girth, a 20-inch girth. Freak fish, 11 and almost 12 pounds, 28 inches. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't hear about a 20-inch girth very often on a walleye.
No, pretty rare. Well, I don't want to talk about him, but well, there's a reason. Erik probably knows why. I had a buddy that was a taxidermist that did a 19-inch girth mount for my buddy. He's no longer with us, but yeah, he got a 29 by 19 in South Dakota. That fish didn't even look real.
It's a big one.
19-inch girth is just giant for a walleye. I mean, that's crazy huge.
The Blonde Bomber wants to know what mounts hasn't Erik done that you want? What mounts haven't you done that you would like to do, Erik?
I'd like to do a channel cat. I haven't done one yet.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Well, I can tell you right now, if me or Tara get our 30, she would mount it too. She was going to do her 25,
Yeah, she
I-
posted that.
and I
That
wanted.
was a nice fish too.
And I'm gonna be
Remember
honest.
inquiring about that one.
I convinced her not to do it.
Shame on you.
I know, but I only did that because I know she's going to catch a bigger one.
Yeah.
And a 25 is a world-class channel cat. That's huge. But I said, wait till you get your 30. I said, it'll be worth it, and you'll be so much more happy. If you get a 30 after your 25, you'll be like, shit, now I got to mount another one.
Yeah.
'Cause you obviously got to mount. And if she ever wants to get a replica of that 25, she can always still get one. So
Yeah, you can always do a replica.
Does Tara have any mounts so far?
I'm not sure. Tara, do you have any mounts?
I think it's time to start filling up that wall.
She's going to fill her up.
We got a lot of space.
We got a lot of room in here. We got like a 40-something inch pike in here on the wall that the local guy brought in. It's
Yeah, we
actually
could kick Chewy out of his studio in the back
I don't
room, and you
know.
could set up your taxidermy right in the back here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That pike was brought your uncle.
Oh,
Then there's a walleye in here. We got you don't do any mammals at all.
But actually, the walleye that we got up there, Erik, the walleye that we got up there, it's from
It's old.
1976, the year before I was born.
An old dusty crusty one.
yeah, you
No,
want
it's a
you want
walleye.
to repair a mount?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
No, he
No.
says.
We're sending it to you. We're sending it to you. We're gonna edit this part, and we'll have Dan do your voice. Say, "Yeah, sure, bring it in," and we're just gonna send it to you. Post it on Tiki Taki.
Yeah.
Chicky.
Tara has
Yeah.
no mounts.
You'd be surprised how much work I turn down, like repair stuff.
Oh,
like
I
that.
can only imagine.
Yeah, I imagine that's really hard, huh?
Some
I
of
just
it-
don't have the time to do it.
No, I
you're,
mean,
you're
you're-
busy doing like new mounts constantly.
Are you turning down planes and motorcycles now? Just sticking to fish?
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't touched the car for a few years now. I'm sticking to the fish.
You still have the bay to paint cars, or is that turned into taxidermy now?
That's all taxidermy space now.
he had a
That's where I
painting-
do my painting of fish and clear coating and all that. Which
Yeah,
is
he had a
nice.
bay in there to paint cars. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, not no more.
I've
Now-
seen
do a little,
pictures
do a
of
little
it.
bit of everything in here now.
So
Yeah.
I see a few fish behind you. Do you have a garage full of them that people haven't picked up yet?
I mean, I'm just finishing up a huge batch of stuff. So I've got a few that need to get shipped out, like the muskie up there. I've got a sucker back here that needs to get picked
Oh,
up, but
look at that.
Nice.
that gal's in Texas right now, so I will have to wait till next week.
Well, before we close off with you, we're not going to quite yet. But if anybody in chat that's watching has a question for Erik, now's the time to ask it before we start dwindling down in our podcast. It's already 45 after, which is crazy.
Yeah, really fast.
So if anyone has any more questions for Erik, make
This
sure
is-
to ask in the comments. Low key, why do Erik's mounts look so much better than other taxidermists? Tara wants to know.
Because you got skills,
Skills?
man.
I don't know.
Wait a minute. This you weren't like into like street
Graffiti?
Yeah.
No,
Are
not
you
really
tagging?
into graffiti
Oh.
much.
Let me ask a question.
Wait.
So let's ask Wade's question. Damn, I got a rusty GMC. I was hoping you could fix it up. No more
Sorry,
bed.
Wade.
You don't need it for that. Bring it in the bait shop. We got like 20 cans of spray back there.
No. Let's say I buy a house here this year.
Okay.
What are the odds that I can hire you to do a mural on a wall in like a studio room, like podcast room?
I don't know. I'm sure I could do it.
It'd be like gar.
Just like a fishing themed type
No, it'd be
stuff.
like a multi-species, and you could do your own
Yeah.
magic. It'd be like gar, sturgeon, catfish, and just kind of a cool little, a big mural. But it'd be super sick to have as a background in like a podcast room.
I was thinking you were going to say on the
Pretty
ceiling
cool.
of your bedroom, you sick.
No, no.
I'm sure I
there's-
could be persuaded into coming over and painting something for you.
No, I think that'd be really cool. That'd
Yeah,
be
it would be
really
really cool.
sweet.
It would be
Take
sick.
on that whole front window.
Well, the main thing I do is buy a house first, so we got to start there.
Yeah.
That's like saying I want to have kids one day. Well, I need to get a wife first.
you
You don't
need a
have
wife,
to.
man.
That's true.
You don't need
You
a
Now
don't
Okay.
wife.
have to, Luke.
Nowadays,
you
just
need
ask
it?
Scotty.
Buy your dream boat first, buddy.
I got it. We're good.
Get your
Let's take
mounts
Let's
first.
do a quick peek
Yeah.
at some of these.
Get all the
catches
shit
real
you
quick
want
before we
first.
log
Oh
off.
yeah, lake trouts. Is that a splake or a lake trout?
It's a Laker.
Is it?
It's like, I like this one right here. Look at that.
Oh yeah, I love crappie. That's a nice crappie.
Oh, largemouth crappie.
Yeah, largemouth crappie.
Look at that.
That is
football.
How big is
Damn.
that? 10 and a half?
That was 11 and a half. I caught that
Damn.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, where'd you?
I saw
Can you send me
pictures
those
of that.
cords? You good?
No. Hey, who's that guy?
With the llama.
Yeah, everyone
Oh,
knows.
yeah. Fished a little local derby against the llama.
Did he know who you are?
I did that once.
Did he know your work?
Hoping to do some mounts for him someday. That'd be pretty sweet.
Does he know
That
you?
would be
Does
sick.
he know your work?
Yeah, I talked to him about it.
Yeah. God, that's a pretty
That's a
fish
pretty
right
one.
there.
I like that red eye.
Dang.
Look at that.
Hell
Is that
yeah.
that same tournament?
No, different tournament.
Different tournament.
I got one big bass with that one.
Look at that. That's a good bag.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's real nice. You're just into the bass stuff big time. Oh,
Yeah.
there's some channel cat love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little channel cat love there. Little whisker buddy.
And another
That
football
was
right
like a
there.
Jeez.
perfect eater.
Look at the
That's a good
shoulders
eater.
on that. Do you have any desire to go
Little
to
channel.
to go to what's the lake again?
What?
Out in Arizona. Havasu.
Havasu?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's on the bucket list.
I would
Same.
love to go.
We mounted a couple of those giants for a guy.
How
not
big
too
were
long
they?
ago.
Yeah, I want to hear about
One
those.
was 14 inches, and the other one was like
Jesus.
12 and a half.
Do they look crazy?
14-inch bluegill.
Like a 2.5 pound sunfish.
God.
Freaking insane.
But the blonde bomber wants to know what's his favorite part about mounting fish for people.
Getting paid.
I just like to see all the big fish that come in.
That would be awesome.
That'd be
I think it's pretty cool, and just seeing the happiness on customers' faces when they pick up their fish is pretty
Yeah.
awesome too.
I don't
That
know.
would be cool.
I would think getting paid.
You,
Just me.
you said you
I mean-
you're gonna ship that muskie behind you. How do you even go about doing that?
Yeah,
It
I don't
sounds
know
so
that.
scary.
I build a crate that goes into a cardboard box, and it gets packed with bubble wrap and packing peanuts.
Sure. Overdo it.
Hey, just overdo it, make it bulletproof, keep my fingers crossed that it gets there safely.
God, that's scary.
You know how
Yeah.
package handlers like to throw packages around.
That's scary.
Catfish and Crappie from YouTube channel Catfish
For
and Crappie.
everybody.
Mark Prishpish. He wants to know how much to mount the 121 blue cat I'm going to catch this year, or 31-pound channel cat. You're going to have to message him personally on that one.
Yeah, you can message my Facebook page, Anglers Touch Fish Art and Taxidermy. I'll handle any kind of questions you have about pricing on there.
And realistically, he's just talking about a dream he had like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
It's not for real. I mean, let's just be real here, Mark.
Hey, I wish him luck. That'd be a sweet mount.
No, he's gonna go to the same channel cat trip I'm going to. So, but we're actually going. We're doing the Wisconsin trip where I got my 27-2 and Tara got her 25. We actually caught our fish in the exact same spot anchored, which is kind of cool. And that's actually not where I'm thinking we're gonna get our 30. We got another lake south of here that we got intel on that he catches quite a few 30s a year. So we're gonna go try it. If we don't catch one on Mendota, which I would love to do, I shouldn't say that lake. Shoot, Wisconsin. We're gonna. It shall be done. He says we're gonna get one down in the southern lake. Hopefully.
Let me know when you're going. I'd like to tag along. That'd be a fun trip.
Which one?
Giant channels in Wisconsin.
Oh, it's crazy, dude. It's so fun. We run bobbers sometimes. You can run, and it's crazy because when you're fishing those fish, you don't always see in the video, but a lot of the time, you don't even know you have a fish until you hear a splash, and then your rod folds because they go tail up in the slough to grab the bait off the bottom. And it goes joosh, joosh, and then the rod just folds over the boat.
That's
So it's
crazy.
like I wonder.
Nice.
I'd be curious to see if you could pull one in on top water. I wonder if people have ever done it. Let's talk about doing some shed hunting. You shed hunt?
Not a whole lot.
I think
I
that's-
look for them while I'm mushroom hunting in the spring, but
yeah.
I think everyone
I-
gets to them before I
I never
find
even
them.
think about looking for sheds when
I
I
don't
did,
either.
I did when I had Sam, when Sam was still alive.
Did you?
I thought about it, and then we
Yeah,
got
trained him and everything.
15 inches of snow, so I unthought about it real fast.
That's funny. Yeah, we don't shed hunt, Wade. We fish.
I never have.
And look for rocks. What do they call again?
Agate hunting.
Yeah.
I love finding agates. That's been
Oh, yeah, I get pretty cool.
Tara got me hooked, and it's bad. Like it's really. If I'm stopping anywhere in the river with rocks, my eyes, and it's amazing how many
Right.
places. It's amazing how many places you find agates. When we were duck hunting out in Watertown, Tara found an agate while we were hunting, sitting there. It's just like it's crazy, and the Lake Superior agates
We need to go
are
get
pretty widespread.
agates.
You should. It's fun. Have you done agate hunting before?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool as heck. They're old.
Used to find a
Hundreds of
ton of them when we were
millions of years
kids. My grandparents' driveway up north was all rock, and all their landscaping was bigger rock. We'd find some pretty cool agates.
And Wade makes a good point. Wade says, I have a lot of agates, and I'm going to be 100% honest with me. It breaks my heart. When I go to his house, I worked all summer. We probably got 200 last summer. I go to Wade's house. He has like pails full of perfect agates.
Wow.
But like,
Dude, he's got crazy agates.
what do you mean? What do you do with them? What,
Well, you
I was
can
gonna say,
sell
what do
them.
people do with all those agates?
He saves his.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
I'm
I had a
gonna end up
pile.
offering him some money to have some because I want to make a table
oh,
with epoxy, and that's full of agates.
Dude, those
Um,
epoxy tables are sweet.
Yeah, so I don't think he'll sell them to me. He used to have ins at a gravel pit, and he'd sit at the conveyor belt and just grab agates as they come out. But now with OSHA, not no more. You ain't doing that no more.
yeah. When
You guys ever see any
I
of them
used to
shows
get
where they
paid
take
Explains a lot.
I used to get paid good money
What
as
you
a
talking about?
union journeyman.
Yeah.
What is we talking about? There's
Like,
a market for them. There's a market for them. You need somebody to paint your GMC.
Yeah, no, there's a good market. If you get like a 2-pound agate, you can make a couple grand at least.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah, dude.
On a bucket of rocks.
On one agate.
On one?
one 2-pounder.
Yeah, it's a real deal.
That's like catfish and crappies.
Finding a-
120-pound
finding
blue cat
one
that he's
that
not
big-
gonna catch.
Finding one that big on
I'm
They
just
bushing
kidding, buddy.
me?
Kidding.
no. Finding one that big on the Minnesota River is really hard. Not that there's any on the Minnesota River, but in general, there are a lot of smaller ones in this area.
Okay, what are you laughing?
We gotta
Are you
stop,
guys
Luke.
bushing in?
Luke's got an open mouth today.
Now I gotta watch my tone. Tara's gonna get mad at me.
We just sit right there and watch your tone. They said antlers are worth way more, though. Yeah, I figured.
Wade's gonna start asking Luke about all his fishing spots.
No, Wade knows all my
Yeah.
fishing.
Well, if you're gonna
spots.
ask him today because he seems to be an open book.
That's what I mean.
Wade's fished the river a lot longer than me.
What? So has Luke's blue cat, has that been the toughest one you had to paint and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, as far as overall
The size?
amount of work that needed to be done on it, that was probably the hardest one.
What about like the detail?
Like the whiskers, how was that?
I mean, because I see
Yeah,
some.
I mean,
I see that.
Everything I do takes time. Everything's tedious. It's
Yeah, because I see that perch behind you, and that's pretty detailed, bro. I mean, look at the
It takes time, but I mean, it shows like
just look at the
Yeah.
pike, bro. Look at that.
Yeah, there's one.
Look at that.
It's
all
not
that
even a
scale
pound.
tipping along the back. A lot of guys won't do all that, but I think the scale tipping makes a huge difference.
That's
Brings it,
that's gorgeous, bro.
really
Yeah.
just brings it to life.
Look at
it
that tail.
does.
It makes that iridescent. It brings out that iridescent that
does,
you
it
don't
really
really
does.
get. Do you have a secret top coat you use? That's a big secret, or do you use? I know some guys use like car stuff for their final coat.
Yeah, I
Okay.
use automated clear coat.
Okay, so that's the most durable, isn't it?
Right. It's got UV protectors and stuff, so it's gonna make your mount last a lot longer.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep, that's cool.
Some guys will just use rattle can Krylon from Walmart.
Yep.
It'll look dull after a couple years.
Well, I know
Yeah.
everyone appreciates your mount, but if people do want to get a mount from you and they're interested in a fish, how much it's going to cost them to get a mount, and just so you guys know, all Erik needs is a measurement of your fish, and a photo, if you want to get the colors close. How do people get a hold of you to get their fish done?
The best way would be just shoot me a message on Facebook, Angler's Touch, Fish Art, and Taxidermy.
And at the end of the podcast, we will put your links in the bottom of the video so people can just click on it. So if you're
Perfect.
watching this after today, we'll have the links down at the bottom. If you haven't want a motorcycle to get painted, don't call Erik. He's not doing them anymore.
Good baby.
But we do appreciate you coming on. I know we're all
That's
excited to have
awesome.
you.
Yeah,
And I
thanks
know
for having me.
It's kind of last minute, so we do appreciate it very much.
Yeah, no problem.
But we appreciate you, and we'll keep in touch, and I'll let you know. Let me know if you find the sturgeon mold, and I'll talk to you about the 30-pound channel cat once I catch one.
All right,
Might-
will do.
I might be bugging you here soon too.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
Bug
Erik.
all
away.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Might-
What a good guest.
yeah.
Yep. I wish
Class
we could.
act.
I wish we had more time to announce that we were going to have him.
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
wish
people
we-
would have been interested.
yeah.
I know. It's just
Mm.
kind of last minute. I put it on Ice Fishing Minnesota,
Yeah.
and yeah. But as great having Erik on here. I've known Erik for quite a few years now.
Just
And-
amazing work.
Such a good artist, so talented, and there's just not a lot like him out there right now.
No.
He's there's obviously, like he said, there's some really good artists out there, and he'll openly admit it. He's not gonna say I'm the only good taxidermist out there.
That's what
He-
makes him.
he-
That's what makes him cool. is
he
he's very
looks
humble.
up to a lot of people, which
Yeah,
is
he's-
cool, and he knows what's good and what's not good, and his work
Yeah.
is just crazy good.
His
But,
attention to detail
oh,
is
yeah.
phenomenal.
His scale time, his
And
trout.
That's what makes
His
it.
trout are the most impressive mounts I've ever seen that he does.
Yeah.
It's so much different color variation. That peacock's crazy that he
Yeah.
mounted.
I like that
Peacock
peacock.
was badass.
The one I caught was that big behind that pancake house.
You caught a cock or?
Peacock.
Oh, that. Okay. Oh, I
What's the
thought,
matter with you?
no, I just thought
Is
you
your mom
said-
still on?
What?
I always behind the.
That's what we
pancake
call him
house.
for short. Behind the pancake
you're
house. It was about that big, guys.
The uncensored part of the podcast just switched sides of the table.
See that?
But he said I got a small one about that big behind the
Peacock.
pancake house.
Peacock.
Uh-huh.
Peacock.
Just think about it though. Flip the word.
Jesus Christ.
It's messed up, bro.
I don't know what you're laughing about, Blonde Bomber.
Am I drunk?
Not yet.
But
He's
you
drunk
guys,
with, yeah, he's drunk with that vape.
but spring opening is in a month, right?
Yep.
Chewy Godinez.
Yeah, it is. April 1st is the day we're targeting for that catfish event. Unless that changes, I don't know. We're still trying
Maybe
to
the week
coordinate
after.
with the swap
swap meet.
So we'll
Have you heard
see.
anything on
I
that?
haven't heard anything.
No, I wouldn't count on it
mentioned
then.
But anyways, yeah, that's what we're talking. If we don't do it the first weekend of April, we'll do it the second weekend in April.
Yep.
But we'll get that done, and then we also have some custom baits coming in house for bass. We got some Senkos coming in.
To the bait shop.
In the bait shop, and they'll probably be the only brand that we got coming in for this summer. And I'll be working with them and helping them out with what
Is
I
it those young
can.
guys?
Yeah, that's about as far as we'll go.
'Kay.
On that, but yeah. So we're gonna give them a shot. I'm gonna help them out as best I can, and then we'll see where that goes. And then we got the crappie baits coming in. We got ringworms that we're gonna start to shoot here.
I'll be
Yeah.
For shoot, you guys, he means he's gonna mold them.
I'll be
Yeah.
tying in on some of those color coordinations too. So
Yeah, Scotty's gonna help me with that, and then
we have fun with that.
we're gonna get into the walleye plastics. But Dan here, he's not a big plastic guy, so we're gonna put a hole
You
in
just
that.
gotta be good with colors, Dan.
But, yeah, be good with colors.
We'll give you some crayons or
But
something.
if not, we're just gonna make our own. What is Chris Flores?
I'm gonna
use that?
convert Dan to plastics
that,
this spring. You'll
Dude,
see.
plastics are fun. Like,
You'll
I
see.
don't know.
Chewy starts charging me for bait. I'll switch to plastics.
That's funny.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, Wade said we got a week. Why only a week? So the
Week.
pike fishing up at Lake of the Woods, the late ice up there is really good because it doesn't close. Pike doesn't close there,
Hmm.
so you can get to spots. You fish shallow bays, end of the ice, and then you can get multiple fish over 40 inches in a day.
I have seen some monsters.
There's some huge fish out there. I wanted to talk to Tara about it. I haven't had a chance. I will after the podcast, but
I
I'd
might
like to get
wanna
up to Lake of
go.
the Woods here in the next week and a half, and do like a day or two of tip up fishing with iFish Pros and have some fun up there. I think that'd be really fun.
I was
Then,
gonna say I fish.
what are we
pros would
doing?
be
Say his
fun.
last- I don't know.
Hegseth?
Hegseth?
Hegseth.
Yeah, Pat Hegseth.
What are we doing this for?
So I was gonna put. So we had a visitor this weekend, and when me and Scotty were here, and he brought in some cool vintage
yeah.
boxes and
What?
stuff and hooks that he
Yes.
gave to the shop.
Really?
Yes.
I was trying to load the picture. We can't load them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna contact him. I'm not gonna get too into it. I'm just gonna contact him, and I'm gonna have because his dad used to have a bait shop.
What?
So, but I think it's 70s. He said. That
60s,
when they 60s when they flooded,
70s.
around,
Yeah.
it ended up flooding, and
We've got like some of those boxes were
it's from the 1930s, bro.
yeah, dude.
Oh,
they
cool.
They were
Where are
insane.
they?
Like
Um,
old Fluger hooks.
They're in the safe.
They're
But yeah,
There's a
so
bunch of
I'm gonna text him quick, and then for the next podcast I'll have a little short story on him, and
So what he's getting at is we get to see some old tackle in the next
we
podcast.
get to see some cool
Is he
boxes.
coming in
We're
for
trying to
that?
download the boxes, but I couldn't download more pictures than what we already had there.
Yeah,
So
that'd be cool.
gonna come in for that or
I was thinking maybe we can have him come in and,
I would
and,
like
just
to.
be a visitor at the podcast, and we wouldn't have a guest. So just take just be part of it for a bit. I mean,
That'd
he
be
got some
fun.
cool stories. He lives in Carver, so it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
really
when
cool.
we got somebody. Yeah.
Thanks to Pat for doing that.
yeah, it was
That's pretty neat. But other than that, spring opening, early April, either first week or second week. I go to Idaho the third week with Tara for white sturgeon. So we'll do that again. That'll be fun. My buddy that I'm fishing with just had a child, so be interesting. And his lady likes to fish too, so she's gonna be like, man, I want to fish, but she just had a baby. He just had a baby, you know. Might have to take his truck.
They got to take turns.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But other than that, we appreciate everyone coming in here on this podcast. It was a fun one.
Yeah,
That was a fun
It's
one.
really good having Erik in here,
Yeah, thank
and
you, Erik.
we will see you on the next one.
Have a good one, guys.